Good evening, students. How are you? I think we have 2 weeks that not meet with you, all of you. And today we will continue our materials about escalations commitment. The previous meeting, we discussed about prospect theory and also group pressures and also framing theory. And then this day, we will discuss about escalation commitment. But before we start, we make some quiz to refresh our previous topics. Okay, it's okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, thank you very much for joining the quiz today to remembering our topics, our previous topics. And today we will discuss about theory, the other theory about in behavioral accounting, that is escalations commitment. I've shared in your Google Classroom about the case that about the Facebook that invest billion in metaverse effort as at business law, and then also some news about how is metaverse is spending set to increase, and metaverse lost some billions dollar. And also Facebook have misinformation is bad enough, and the metaverse will be worse. Did you read the materials about that I have shared already in the Google Classroom about the metaverse? Have you? Not yet. Okay. Actually, this case is about how Facebook invests too much to metaverse and the business is going slow. I will to ask you, if you are a Mark as a founder of Facebook, if you read, imagine that you are Mark as Facebook founder. And then you read this news, the news that the metaverse is going down, high increases in expenses to build the metaverse, and the business growing not expected enough, and metaverse will be worse. I want to ask you, if you are Marx, what would you do? Continuing the metaverse project or stop the project? If you want to open mic, you can answer in the chat room. Continuing or stop the project. You can also chat. Yes.
Ma'am, if the project is making loss, then we should stop the project and we should start a new project instead of it, ma'am.
Okay. If you thank you, Miss Kayatiran. But if you have already invest in the metaverse, when you quit from the project, and you will lose some in your initial investment in this metaverse project, what do you feel?
If we see the past records, then in future the losses may even be high. So we should get back from that plan, and we should start a new plan instead of it, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Miss Kayatri, that you are not influenced by escalation commitment. Yes, but sometimes managers in the real activity, in our daily activity in business, sometimes they choose continuing project like Marx do. Marx choose to continuing the metaverse project, even though the analysts and also the analyst or also the other party has suggested this project is going down. This is that we call it escalation commitment. I think this is a nice quote. If at the first you don't succeed, try and try again. Then quit. No use being a dumb fool about it. So if you do something and don't succeed, try again. If you still not success, then quit. No use being dumb fool on it. This is we are talking about escalation commitment. Escalation as a decision to continue with a project, even when based on the result of economic analysis indicate that the project should be stopped. Escalation commitment is decision to increase the allocation of resources to a fail or failing projects, like what's in Metaverse 2. That I think that economic analysts, predictor indicate that metaverse should be stopped because they are failed or failing projects. But sometimes if we are an initiator of the project, we will still continue the projects. This is the escalation commitment. Why escalation commitment is occurs? First, we can the theory that can explain phenomena of escalation commitment is self-justification theory. This theory explains that managers who from the beginning have had responsibility for a project will tend to continue the project even though economic prospects indicate that the project should be stopped. And when the project manager are faced with a setback in the project, they will increase their commitment to trying to turn the projects around or to demonstrate the final rationality of the action taken initially. According to this theory, managers escalate commitment because they want the end result and also because they feel emotionally attached and fear that their credibility will decrease if the project is terminated. So this is the first theory that explain why the escalation commitment is occurs, because they want to some manager and or we as individual escalate our commitment because we are in feel emotionally in our project that we have been proposed and fear that our credibility will decrease if the project is terminated. So we will continue to turn around with this project. This is self-justification theory. And the second theory is agency theory. According to agency theory, the commitment escalation occurs because individuals want to maximize their personal interest in the form of impression management. This theory assumes that individuals are motivated to make decisions that maximize their personal economic interests. Two conditions that encourage managers to escalate commitment are incentive to share. This condition occurs when the manager economic interests are different from the company interests, which result in the manager being compelled to ignore the company interests. So based on agency theory, there are different interests between the principal or owner of the company and between the agents or the manager of the company. There is a conflict of interest. And then the incentive to share occurs when manager economic interest is different between the company interests. And also, there are asymmetry informations between principal is owner of the company and the manager. So if they are asymmetric information, we tend to make wrong decisions and not make a good decision about our projects to continue or not to continue. And agency theory states that both asymmetric information and incentives to share can cause the adverse selection problems. Adverse selection is conditions where the company cannot know for sure whether the manager saw maximum ability in carrying out their duty. This is the agency theory explanations about why escalation commitment occurs. And the third is theory human cognitive process. Based on this theory, escalation is caused by cognitive error in the form of perceptual bias. Error occurs because decision making is to focus in the sunk cost. What is the sunk cost? Sunk costs that costs that have incurred to finance the project taken. Individuals feels that they have invest too much, like Mark, founder of Facebook, they already feel that sunk cost that he invests too much in metaverse, energy, time, money, resource, and then even though the cost are the past that cannot be recovered, thus it should not be considered in the future actions. The action we take should be future oriented by considering all alternatives by evaluating only the future cost and benefit of each alternative. This is that Miss Kaya Tiran explained about why we should not continue in the metaverse is we are as a CEO of Facebook, because the past, the sunk cost, we should ignore the sunk cost and focus and the future cost and benefit of the other alternative. This is how theory of human cognitive process explain about why escalation commitment is occurs. There are two types of escalation commitment. The first is unilateral escalation paradigm, and the second is the competitive escalation paradigm. The unilateral escalation paradigm is all the justification for the escalation of commitment lies within the individuals. And then the competitive escalation paradigm, in the competitive escalation paradigm, commitment escalation is also driving by with the other party. So in the unilateral escalation paradigm, escalation commitment is lies in within individuals. But in the competitive escalation commitment, the competitive escalation commitment is driven by competitive with others. We want to looking better than the other. We want to looking rich than the other. This is the competitive escalation commitment. So the unilateral escalation paradigm, in the unilateral escalation paradigm, all the justifications for the escalation of commitment lies within the individual. Individual escalate commitment to decisions that were previously taken. Individuals have difficulty separating the relationship between decisions that have been taken previously from future decisions that must be taken. The consequences is that we lead the decision bias, and individuals have a tendency to escalate the commitment, especially after receiving the negative feedback. So when we get the negative feedback, like metaverse going down, the business is slowing, going down, this is the negative feedback. When the negative feedback is come, we tend to escalate our commitment. And Basserman stated that the tendency for commitment escalation is influenced by the degree of feeling disappointed by the decision maker when there is negative feedback from the initial decisions he made. This is the unilateral escalation paradigm. And the second is the competitive escalation paradigm. In the unilateral escalation commitment, the tendency for commitment is occur individual reason. Meanwhile, in the competitive escalation paradigm, commitment escalation is also driven by competition with other party. For examples, commitment in auctions process, commitment with other party will increase the commitment of escalation of commitment. There are psychological factors that triggers escalating behavior. The first is perceptual bias. Perceptual bias occurs when individuals have chosen certain decision and choose information selectively to maintain commitment to the decision they have chosen. Perceptual bias occur when the individual seek justification procedures for the action they have been chosen. And the second psychological factors that lead escalating behavior is judgmental bias. Decisions are made after filtering the information that will use to make further decisions. So we filter the information that we only want to know. If we filter the information, so and we will make a decision, our decision is not good because not well informed from the other perspective. And okay, and the third is okay, and the third is impressions management. Reward-based result alone will encourage escalation of commitment if the reward based on a result and the manager, excuse me. Okay, I think okay, I'm sorry that I should close this. But Novi, would you mind to mute some students that unintentions to open the mix? Okay, I think I am not a host right now, so I can't do that. I don't know who's the host. Okay, I will continue. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. Yes. Psychological factor that why that lead to escalating behavior. One is perceptual bias, and the second is judgmental bias, and the third is impressions management. Reward based on result alone. If we get reward based on the result only, will encourage escalation commitment. If the reward are based on the result, manager will hide the poor result through commitment escalations. That is by continuing project that was initiated. Discontinuing the project indicate that the manager made a wrong decisions. So continuing the project will be save reputation and to impress the management that they have made a good decisions. If they are not discontinuing the project, this will show that they make a wrong decision. So they will choose to continue the project even though this is a negative feedback from the projects. And the fourth is competitive irrational. Competitive irrational is a situations where there are two parties who take irrational actions in terms of the result that been obtained by both parties. It is very difficult to identify the specific irrational action taken by each party. The four causes of commitment, escalation commitment can each independently cause the escalation commitment, but they more act together to increase the commitment of escalation commitment tendency. And so if we are in the condition of escalation commitment now, how the strategy to de-escalations our commitment to make right decisions. The first is unambiguous feedback, and the second is give the progress report, and the third is give the future benefit reports. This is the three the strategy that can reduce the escalation commitment or the escalations commitment strategy. We will discuss about this is actually finding of course research by cost in 97 state that strategy to reduce escalation commitment is unambiguous feedback. Unambiguous feedback encourage a search for more appropriate alternative strategy. And the second is progress report. Individuals are bounded rationality or have rational limitations because we have a lot of things to think, a lot of decisions. So we are in the bounded rationality situations, and we have rationality limitations. Individuals have limitation to evaluate all the available informations. Especially we are in internet world, so there are so many information, and we can have limitation to evaluate all the informations before making a decisions. So progress reports are expected to assess individuals in processing information to reduce the decision bias, because the progress report will improve consistency and the quality of judgment. And by reviewing the progress of the project, the reasons for deviation or failure can be identified as a basis for future decisions. This is unambiguous feedback. Second is progress report, and the third is future benefit. Future research indicate that decision maker base their decision on historical costs. For example, that Mark have invest some $1 billion in metaverse. This is the sunk cost that already have they spending to make the metaverse projects, and decision maker base their decision on historical sunk costs or costs that already incurred rather than the future cost and benefit. The availability of information of the future cost and benefit is useful for decision makers to make judgment and not let the sunk cost influence their decision on additional investment, because the action we take should be future oriented by evaluating only future and benefit. So there are three, at least three strategies that we can do to de-escalation or reduce escalation commitment. The first is unambiguous feedback, the second progress report, and the third is future benefit. And this is the phase of our behavior in escalation commitment. The first step is we are in calm, and then there is a triggers, and then we are accelerating or escalation our intention, and then the peak, and we should be aware that we are not in the good in the right way, so we should reduce our escalation commitment into de-escalation strategy, and then we will in the recovery phase. And the escalation strategy, there are three: unambiguous feedback, and also progress report, and also have a future benefit. This is why we need strategy to de-escalation commitment to then we will back in the recovery phase. Okay, I think that students have any questions until this slide, dear students? Is there any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No. Okay. I have read your summary of the paper. I'm very enjoyed to read this your summary. This is, for example, this summary is on by Miss Akila. Miss Akila, would you mind to present your summary of our paper today about escalation commitment and relation with the national culture? Miss Akila, would you mind to open your mic?
Ma'am,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Actually, this paper is I just read this paper
Yes.
and had a one-page summary.
Yes. Would you mind to explain about your summary? Your summary is good. Would you mind to explain the content with us?
Okay, ma'am. Actually, this paper tests the cross-cultural sensitivity of some determinants like agency conditions, negative framing, self justification, all those things. In this, a sample of 1,208 managers and some MBA students were surveyed in 9 countries and investigated the effects of national culture, and they find the effect of negative framing on escalation of commitment and significance. And by already seeing those three theories from psychology and economics, they explain the escalation behavior, and they also said about prospect theory and agency theory. And finally, they had a result of individual responsibility for initiating an unprofitable project that creates self justification and motive. Based on the given literature, um, they proposed 4 hypotheses, ma'am, and based on the hypothesis, they came into conclusion. And hypothesis one details about the alternate that countries with high levels of individuals are more likely to escalate. And hypothesis two decides the effect of adverse selection condition on escalation behavior will be stronger in cultures. And they also said the effect of negative framing on escalation behavior and in different cultures with different level of uncertainty avoidance. Finally, in hypothesis 4, they said about the alternate that managers in cultures higher on long-term orientation are more likely to escalate projects with potential long-term payoffs. And then management controls are weak, and individual country managers are more likely to continue an unprofitable project. So overview of this paper is implicit, and it tells about the cultures of nations around the world are different from each other. And the author named Hofstede gave 5 dimensions and said about that culture is best operationalized at country level. And this is the summary of the paper, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Miss Akila.
Ma'am.
Yes, I'm very happy to listen your summary and very proud of you, all of you, my dear students. Actually, I'm in my fourth meeting. I actually missed to hear your sound and then you can open mic and present your summary paper. It's very good, and I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you. Miss Akila, do you have any suggestions, or maybe give the implications of this paper you have? You have what kind of the value that you can get from read this paper?
I also studied the reference paper that are given in this literature, ma'am.
Okay.
Whatever the points given in this paper is very good,
Okay.
and the conclusion provided in this literature also very good, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Akila.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Now I have actually have been download two papers. That first is Miss Akila, and the second is Miss Mitra. Wait, I will share the paper. Miss or Mr. Mitra, would you mind to share, to open the mic and present your summary papers? Miss Mitra or Mr., would you mind to open the mic and present your very good summary of research paper? Okay. Maybe Miss Mitra not have in this class, or maybe the my dear student who wants to present the summary, rather who wants to open the mic and also share the screen to present the summary of our papers, our reading material today. Who wants? No, nobody.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can I explain it, ma'am, without
Yes.
written?
Okay. I will make you as a co-host. Would you mind to share screen, Miss?
Ma'am, I didn't prepare the summary, ma'am, but I have overviewed the paper and let me
Okay.
discuss it.
Okay. Please, Miss
Yes, ma'am.
K.
So this paper is dealing about the moderating effects of national culture on escalation of commitment. So the escalation of commitment is defined as the behavior in which an individual or a group who is facing negative outcomes from a decision or an action um, continues the behavior instead of altering the course. So this is the basic definition of escalation of commitment. So in this paper they have discussed the method of escalation of commitments effects on the accountings. To know this, the MBA graduates and many institutes have made some survey with the managers of nearly 1,208 from 9 countries. So the managers are the main point of contact to know about the behavior happening in a company. So they have decided to collect it from the managers, and through that they have concluded that the escalation of commitment is normally happening because of aiming at the long term profit of the company. They will not look upon the short term profits. Instead of that, they will look upon the long term profit. So even if the company is making loss at the basic in the starting level, they will keep on moving, so that their hope is that they will gain profit in the future after a long period. So this period keeps on moving and the losses keep on happening. But they hope on having profit, maybe not happened. So if the hope of the company has not achieved, they should stop and they should take alternate methods to correct it. And they have also mentioned that negative framing has also been a cause for the escalation of commitment, because the negative framing can lead to a heavy loss for the company. Negative framing can lead to the share price decrease of the company. Many shareholders may withdraw from the shares of the company because they may think that the company is making loss, because if they follow the escalation of commitment. Uh, so if dropping an operation, it will make a loss to the company by decreasing the share of their value in the share market, and this makes the escalation of commitment to keep on going. And finally, I must conclude that escalation of commitment should be justified in the basic level, by ma'am's suggestion of following the reports, and the weekly, daily report should be justified through it. So escalation of commitment has a effect on the share price of the company is true. And I really enjoyed this research paper, and I hope that they should have also explained some about the share price of the company, which will have an effect because of escalation of commitment. So this is my summary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss K. You always make a great presentation as always. Thank you very much, Miss K.
Thank you.
What the lesson that you can take from after reading this paper? What the lessons?
What justifications, ma'am?
What the lessons?
Reasons, ma'am?
Lessons. Wisdom. Listen or
Oh yes,
wisdom.
ma'am.
Yes.
Um, so from this research paper, I got to know that we should accept our mistakes, and we should correct it instead of moving on the same path of mistake. We should divert the direction of moving, and we should go in a right path. Even if we are wrong, we should justify it to the outer world, so that we should get a second chance to correct our mistake. So this is the lesson of life I got from this research paper, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss K. I'm always proud of you and also for all the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, yes. This the Miss K, also Miss Akila, that have been presents the paper very good, and I think that all of you also have a good summary about these papers. And I want to share about some video that actually this video is represent our daily life activity, not related with the business decisions, but this is escalation commitment in that occurs in our daily life as humans. This is the examples of the escalation commitment.
It's going to cost you $5,011. Here's my card. What can you tell me? I don't know why you drive this condition. Stop. Let's down. Hi, I'm Trevor Fisher. I'm going to talk about heuristics. Heuristics are simple rules that we use to solve problems, but they aren't exactly foolproof. Natasha is suffering from what cognitive psychologists call escalation of commitment. The term is used to explain increased expenditure based on previous investment, despite new evidence suggesting that the cost has negative implications. This was seen in the Vietnam War, where the government decided to pour money and lives on the justification, and I quote, "Our boys shall not die in vain."
These are the estimates of the damages that are in need of repair. You've already spent $15,000 on this car. I think it's time to get a new one.
But I already spent $15,000 on that car. It doesn't make sense to just scrap it.
If you're wrong, you should buy a new car.
Yes, this is the simple example of escalation commitment. The woman continue to expense much to repair her car rather than to buy a new one. Even though the cost to repair the car is same with the buy a new car. This is the example of escalation and commitment in our daily life. So, dear students, is there any questions? I think our material is is there any questions? Okay. Okay, if there are no questions, I think that Prof. Kartikeyan, are you still in here? Okay, maybe he has some other jobs. So students, if you don't have any questions, can we close our meeting today? Or if you want to ask me about the material today, or it's enough, or it is enough?
Ma'am, can you explain the effects of escalation of commitment on share price of the company and the methods to overcome the share price reduction, ma'am?
Miss K, would you mind to repeat the company, because the sound behind you is make me not clear to listen your voice, Miss K.
Ma'am, if the escalation of commitment happens in a company and they have justified it and they have corrected it, but because of their escalation of commitment process, their share price in the market has been reduced, ma'am. So
Yes.
to avoid this, what the company can do, ma'am?
Yes, escalation commitment actually make our decision is not good. Like in metaphors, for example, then the share price is going down. What should we do if we are in the escalation commitment in the company that have a CEO have escalation commitment? We have three strategies actually to reduce our escalation commitment. Give the CEO with progress report, an ambiguous report, and also future benefit report, and also or to replace or to reduce the agency conflict between the manager and also principal, because sometimes managers in a company will have asymmetry informations with the principal on the owner of the company, on the stockholder of the company. If there are any information asymmetry, the manager will have incentive to share, to have a moral hazard, and they will continue in the project that unprofitable at the expense of principal. So we can to replace the CEO with the new CEO in the, and make decisions that from the right point of view. I think this is Miss K. Maybe somebody the other students want to also sharing with the Miss K questions. I think this is very good questions. Thank you, Miss K.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, is there any questions? Or Miss K want to make some confirmations about my answer? Is it clear or not clear?
Yes, ma'am. I'm clear, ma'am.
Okay.
Changing the CEO will be okay, ma'am. Right, ma'am.
Yes, changing the CEO or make the de-escalation strategy. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, dear students, all of you. That if you are not have any questions, we can end our meeting. Can we end our meeting today? Early before 9, because
Yes, Pro. Yes,
Oh,
Pro.
Prof.
If any no
Yes.
questions, the meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
Prof. Kartikeyan, I think the students is very good in summary the
Okay.
papers, also answer the questions, also in the quiz, that I'm very proud of all of the students.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Pro. Thank you, Pro.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can end up the meeting. You can share the attendance sheet, ma'am. You can share the attendance sheet.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, can we end this meeting, Prof? Yes?
Yeah, yes, Pro.
Okay,
Yes, Pro.
okay.
We can
Okay,
end the meeting.
Yes, dear student, thank you very much for our today's meeting. I'm very proud of you. Your answer is very good. Our discussion is very good. I hope this this theory, this material today will be useful in our daily life, or also in our as academicians, in our improving in our research skills. And thank you very much. I apologize if I have any mistakes. Thank you very much. See you next week. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Good night,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pro. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I will end this meeting.